Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha! Here I am once again, coming to you live, streaming live both on Rumble and Utizzle, and I hope you all are having a wonderful night. So it's settled then, as you see on my screen. Joe Biden put out a statement. He knew exactly what he was doing. But anyway, we'll get into that. We're going to get into this Elon Trump blow up that's going on. Very interesting and passionate discussion. And as I said in my thumbnail, the world is watching. So anyway, I will be playing some videos to keep people interested as we go on and have people come into the chats. Come on in, shake off your skin and rattle around in your bones.
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina. Who's a puppet, who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
Bigger purposes, and it's not about some, it's not about I win, you lose. The other thing is, when you look at the Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death, and look at this circus of a hearing.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
I'm going to stop it right there. Yeah, I'm going to skip the big video because we're already 4 minutes in. What storm are you talking about? Well, we'll leave it with Joe Biden and what happened to John McStain. So anyway, let me see who all's in here. Angel, how you doing? Araceli, how are you? Sissy, Sherry, Robin, nice to see you. Lucky, Yvonne, Debbie. Debbie says we have this info. Oh, well, put it up there. What do we got? Jess and Bean, Wayne, what do you all think I think about this business with Elon Musk? Hi, Rebecca, Kathy, where's Miss Lindsay? Yeah, people are asking that. Boy, what a seeming blow up we're having with Elon and Donald Trump. One thing that it's done, it is put the American story on papers all around the world. The internet is absolutely overheating with this story. And it's focusing people on the big, beautiful bill. Alliances are cracking. People who have kept up narratives for years are spinning. They don't know what to do. I think this is all part of the Truth and Reconciliation Act. Transparency. Putting things at the forefront. Oh my God, you hear Elon Musk said the truth is going to come about Donald Trump at Epstein Island. He called for Trump's impeachment. Somebody posted, impeach Trump and make J.D. Vance the president. Now, Elon Musk said, yes. Oh my gosh, this is severe. You believe that? You believe that? I've seen thumbnails, and I didn't want to make mine obvious because I have my same loyal folks coming on, and I don't want to minimize what's being done at all. But the bottom line is, I put Battle Royale for a reason. It's a show. It's a show. Don't think it was, just for their mutual friendship that Hulk Hogan came out and ripped his shirt off. They put on a show to get the people engaged, to get people off the hamster wheel long enough to take a look what's going on. You're seeing big creators like Asmongold post the debt clock. And I honestly believe him when he said, I had no idea that it's this bad. $100,000 per family is owed. For individuals, it's over $200,000. People who actually pay taxes. Is that Donald Trump's fault? Of course not. He was in for 48 months. They did everything they could to get rid of him. They unleashed an illness upon the world. They were so desperate to get rid of him. So, hi, Tennessee. How you doing? Angel, how are you? They're all demanding, Angel. They're all demanding that, hi, Larry, that the Epstein files be released. I've got, hi, Rebecca. Wayne, how you doing? Ha. Jess and Beans here. Yeah, they're all demanding it now. But I tell you what, I have to say that Tennessee says, howdy be y'all. Howdy y'all. He corrected. Okay. All right, Tennessee. Nice to see you. Boy, they are putting on a good show. It's seeming very visceral. But I want to remind you all, you all don't need reminding, but a lot of other people may not be looking at this from the 40,000-foot view. How, now, some people are saying Elon's autistic. He could be honestly having a hissy fit. But what's he talking about with this Epstein stuff? Stuff from the 90s. Stuff from the 90s. What I like seeing is the opposition party, the wokey dokes and the people who are in the dark and just have TDS. They don't want it. They don't know what to do now. And they have nobody on their side to turn to for guidance. What you got, Hakeem Jeffries talking about doxing ICE agents. Oh, let's all get behind that. Nah, not really. You got Elizabeth Warren coming out and saying she's willing to work with Trump. Now, isn't that funny? Isn't that strange? And Trump reciprocating, yeah, I'll work with you, Liz. And you got Chuck Todd, Jake Tapper, and now Karine Jean-Pierre, the head of the propaganda ministry for the Democratic Party, used to be, jumping ship and pointing fingers. We were all duped. Who do they have that can carry the old narrative? Chuck Schumer? Well, I call this, we're as good as dead, Bill. Oh. Well, what's the choices with the bill right now? That everybody understands we're limited to. What are the choices? Don't pass the bill, and Americans get a tax increase of roughly $6,000 to $7,000 per household. Plus, they're still going to come after you for tips. They're going to wring you dry whenever you have to work flipping overtime. So this whole situation, every metric, no matter how it goes, points towards a victory for an acceptable, big, beautiful bill to come to Donald Trump. Whether people go the way Elon Musk is talking and Thomas Massey and Rand Paul to lower the debt, or people prevail in the way the bill's laid out now, because one way or another, something's got to happen, or all the things people had in their hands is going to disappear. And that is political, you know what, aside. That's why you see people like Elizabeth Warren having a conciliatory tone with Donald Trump. Elon Musk is, I was going to put in the title, is he lighting a fire or playing with fire? I think he's lighting a fire. I think he's lighting a fire, and it's getting people to look at what is going on. And it's also making people think about this corruption and deviance that has been in charge of our government for God knows how long. I don't think Elon's stupid. I don't think he's an autistic guy that is going on emotion and having a hockey helmet necessary tantrum, where they say, oh God, he's having a tantrum, put a hockey helmet on him, put a bicycle helmet on him, he's going to bang his head against the wall. He's not doing that. But the knee-jerk reaction for people that haven't been engaged are, oh my God. I was watching one popular streamer I won't say who it was, but I think he was streaming out of emotion. And he said, oh, something terrible might come out about Donald Trump and Epstein Island. Oh, my God. And now Elon's talking about impeachment. Everything's going to blow up. No, it's not. Hi, William. How you doing? New insight. How are you? Pappy Two Bears. Stanton's here. No, we're going to have all these sites. MSNBC, they can't not talk about it. People are going to engage. I guarantee you X has had more traffic in the last 12 hours than they've had probably in the last 2 days. That's how hot this stuff is. People are going to start tossing stuff around about the Epstein situation. People like you and me, we got stuff in our files, in our memories that go way back. And they show the very dark world. I checked Dan Scavino to see what his thoughts were. Not a peep. Not a peep about this. So what are they going to find out if they go checking into the Epstein situation with Donald Trump? Well, they're going to see photos from 35 years ago, 30 years ago. They're going to find out that he assisted the FBI in their initial prosecution. They're going to find out that somebody in the intelligence agencies, the same ones that set up Trump and tried to put him in jail, gave Epstein a sweetheart deal. They're going to find out that Donald Trump rescinded that deal. They're going to find out that James Comey's daughter was in charge of the surveillance with whatever happened to Epstein at the jail. Well, who's James Comey? Oh, he's the guy that put up the seashells that Trump fired. You know how many people don't know this chain of events? The majority of people walking down the street do not know the things I've just enumerated. Facts of the matter. History done. Documented. But they're going to check into it now. They're going to find out about it now. Especially with Elon. How can you generate this much interest? How can you get the world to watch this type of drama? This type of psychological WWE wrestling. Yes, Angela, I started early. I would have started even earlier. I had trouble uploading in my Rumble studio, but I stick with Rumble because I have people on Rumble that stick with me. And I appreciate them very much, and I appreciate you all very much. I'm going to be shooting for 9 to 9:30 start times. And in the future, you may just be seeing a napping Sadie in the picture frame, or I might make a sock puppet with my thumb and finger. Okay, I'll glue a beard to my thumb and put some goggly eyes on the top of my hand and make a hand puppet looking like a mountain man, because they're changing the terms of service on some of these streaming sites where I may have to agree to some of my information being peddled about, and increases in fees. I think StreamYard's around $400 right now, more than that. So I might just put a bowl of food for Sadie and you can watch or eat while I tell you all about how the world turns, what my thoughts are. Or a bearded sock puppet. I don't know yet. Ha ha ha. You can't remember your login or password, Angela? I just go to Google and hit Rumble and boop, there I am. There's the videos. Thank you, Stan. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy the shows. And I hope you're enjoying this worldwide show. Tennessee said they tossed a hand grenade to see who would run. And who stayed. Pretty ingenious, yeah. Well, I was going to put, meanwhile, the picture of those two fighting, and underneath it would just say, meanwhile, what's going on? The Supreme Court came up, of all people, Ketanji Brown Jackson. It was a 9-0 victory for a traditional woman, I'll say a traditional woman, who was suing because she'd been discriminated against. And it had to do with the preferential hiring of a gay person, a gay man, I think it was, over her, and they had the same qualifications, but he got picked because he was gay. And believe it or not, Ketanji Brown Jackson, there have been a couple of judges who put out signals like, I've been talked to and I know I'm on board. Okay, don't kick me off the courts. And Ketanji Brown Jackson is one of them. She wrote the opinion for all 9 justices in favor of the heterosexual woman who was discriminated against because she was not gay. That's weird. Elena Kagan wrote in a decision yesterday, I believe it was, a statement that AR-15s are commonly owned and used by tens of millions of Americans. Why is that a big deal? Because that is one of the parameters set out by the Heller decision that states can't ban commonly used arms that people can bear. So, and she also put in another opinion that, quote, or paraphrase, we are not in the business of setting up independent agencies in the government. Okay? All of these USA, PBS, all these places that are suing to hold up Donald Trump are claiming they're independent agencies. They don't fall under any article power, Article 1, 2, or 3. So these are all signals about what I feel is coming is a big, beautiful ruling. If Donald Trump wants it, I want it. A big, beautiful bill. Because I don't know what he's got in his quiver. And I don't think Elon is stupid. One thing Trump has is, as I've said many times, impoundment. They can budget the money, they can allocate the money, they can do. But if Trump finds that there's waste, fraud, and abuse, or if this money is simply higher than was estimated to complete the job, past practices, well, let's go ahead and spend it. No. The law requires, instead of letting there be waste, fraud, and abuse, or independent agencies using their own discretion in funding, that the president impounds the money and returns it to the Treasury. So I don't believe that Elon doesn't understand that concept. But I do know that if they don't make a big stink and show a big drama, that tens upon tens of millions of people that don't know that, what I'm talking about, will never know. And they won't wake up to the seriousness of the debt that anybody tries to say is Donald Trump's fault. Being president 48 months one time. This debt is the product of career politicians for decades, half a century in some cases. It's been a danger. It's been a threat. Who are the silent thieves? There's a lot of them. It's the ones stealing our money, burying it all in paperwork, crippling your legacy, the legacy your parents tried their best to leave to you, the money in your pocket being devalued, a shriveling dollar. We get this big, beautiful bill passed, and we can start pushing back against that monster. So, I don't know. Maybe Elon's taking it a little too far. And I didn't want to put up a blatant thumbnail to say, this is just a show. Get your popcorn and enjoy the show. Because people see stuff like that on thumbnails. They might not even watch my video. But people that need to get involved in this drama need to look at the big, beautiful bill, the current state of affairs, where trillions of dollars have been pissed away. They won't do it if they think, oh, it's all just a show. And they'll keep their preconceived notions. They'll keep their TDS. They'll throw a rock at a Tesla and think it's all just a show. It's a necessary show. It's an American story. It's going to be talked about for generations once it's all over with. We are in danger. Our government is tottering, teetering. That's why I played Viktor Orban last night. Viktor Orban talking about Europe crumbling and shaking. Trump talked today about the Marxists that were in charge of the government because of the autopen. So when Trump has press conferences, people are going to tune in. And he's going to get in what he wants to say while they all wait for a comment about Elon. About Elon. I'm going to play this clip. This was Trump meeting with the German chancellor. I could get into analysis of the German chancellor's little coded language he was trying to rub on Donald Trump. Trump is just ignoring it about the Ukraine situation. But right now, that's small potatoes, what Germany thinks. But here you'll see Trump. I'm not sure what this award is that this chancellor's given Trump. That's not the issue. Listen to what Trump repeats every time he gets a chance, because what have I been saying is that redundancy, repetitiveness, saying things over and over and over again is the same tactic that the mainstream media has been using against us and brainwashing our friends and family. Well, two can play that game. You'll hear Trump say things over and over and over again.
Absolutely, sure. So to let you know, this is the birth certificate of Donald Trump's grandfather, born in 1869, close to Bad Dürkheim.
Right?
Yeah.
That's called
and
Syria's.
His Christian name was Friedrich.
Right? That's Syria's German.
Syria's German.
That's serious. Bad Dürkheim is serious German. But I want to thank you very much for, first of all, I want to thank you for that. That's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Fantastic. We'll put it up in a place of honor.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, let's see. To put it up there someplace. It's an honor to have you. As you know, the Chancellor just won a great election, very, very strong election. Very respected man. I can tell you, we've been on the phone many times talking about some of the problems of the world outside of Germany. And it's very sad what's going on. We both feel that way. What's going on with Russia, Ukraine, and other things we talk about, but Russia, Ukraine in particular. I'd like to see it end, and maybe it'll end, but we get some news, there'll be some fighting. Something happened a couple of days ago, and now they do a return, and here it goes. It's not good. He's unhappy about it. I'm unhappy about it. But I think eventually we're going to be successful in stopping the bloodshed. It's pure bloodshed. 5,000-6,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. You know that those numbers.
Yeah, we know the numbers.
They're staggering. They're staggering numbers. But Chancellor, I just want to congratulate you, and I want to welcome you to the Oval Office.
Thank you.
It's an Oval Office that's in very good shape. We like fixing things up and having them tippy-top like they have in Germany. They do that in Germany very much, and we do it here. We're having a very good run. I also had a great election, great win, won everything. Won the popular vote, all 7 swing states, which is a big deal. It's pretty unusual to do that. And we have a great mandate from the people, and part of our mandate is we're going to have a great relationship with your country. So I just want to thank you very much for being here.
Trump posted this, and I played it because he's saying what his mandate was, all 7 swing states, right? Holy cow, what was that? Holy cow. Well, anyway. I want to make sure I didn't okay, wait a minute. All right. I'm leaving Joe up for right now because there's a clip here where Trump said this autopen thing was the biggest scandal in over 100 years. Was this ABC had the gall? Yeah, ABC News. President Trump ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate whether former President Biden's administration sought to conspire to cover up his mental state while in office, prompting a response from Biden. They have no idea. They found a picture of Biden where he looks like his brain is working and put the print up. Let me be clear. I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false. Former President Biden. Did anybody hear him say that? Did he write it out in a handwritten letter? Did he do a mini press conference with somebody? No, last time I saw him give a mini press conference, he said, I'm going to beat the hell out of I could beat the hell out of people. Old man yelling at clouds. And they had a gall to put this up. ABC News. And I checked the comments. 90% of the people were mocking ABC News for putting this post up. Seeing right through it. I got this. Whoa, not this. Wait a minute. I got this off of Frank's channel. I was going to use this for my thumbnail. That's the White House. For the NPC show. I see some of you all on there once in a while. Justin Bean and a couple others. Hi, Miss Bender Sue. How are you? Jersey Joe. How are you doing? Debbie. Wanda. Nice to see you. Who'd I miss? Somebody said I got in late. Jerry's here. Well, if you got in late, at least you're better late than never. You can always rewind it if at the end. Diane's here. Okay, I hope I didn't miss anybody. But anyway. Ha ha ha. This is a Tesla, supposedly. Is that photoshopped or is this real? $100,000. Do you think somebody would make a good buy getting that car? If they put a little extra on it, you think Trump would come out and scribble his name on it? I don't think they'd even have to do that. If they got this Tesla, when the dust settles between Trump and Elon, and then put it, here's the red Tesla, the breakup Tesla, put it on eBay, they'd probably make $1 million. Marie, how you doing? Oh, 700,000. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's 700,000 or 100,000. Hard to say what we get. Common Sense, how you doing? Todd's here. So anyway, I don't know what anybody would make of it, but it'd be funny. But I'm sure you all have seen the tweets and the banter back and forth. What did I get this screenshot from? Wait a minute. Oh, this was Devin Nunes. He's reacting to what's going on with Trump and Elon. Such a great song on a wild day. Let it be. Of course, I can't play it. I'll get a copyright strike. But that's Devin Nunes' message to all of us. Let it be. Let it be. Whispering words of wisdom. Mother Mary came to me. So I'll go with that. I agree. Let it be. But anyway, what was some of the stuff lying around here? Here's one from Elon. Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. All over X, people are putting up a video of Trump from 1995, I think it was, or thereabouts. 30-year-old or better. And it shows Epstein walking past. Trump is welcoming people to Mar-a-Lago, and people are filing by him, and he's shaking their hand. Come on in for the party. All these high-powered, moneyed people, the beautiful people, the socialites, filing by Donald Trump. He's shaking their hands, and Jeffrey Epstein walks by, scuttles by, I'll say. He scuttled past Trump, and Trump is say, and it was already acknowledged him for a half a second and was already looking to the next person to shake the next person's hand. It was very innocuous, but all the lefties who are after Trump, here's Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. That's fine. That's fine. Let's have an information battle, okay? An information battle. Do you think Elon Musk doesn't know the story that I told at the beginning of the live stream about what happened with Trump and Epstein? Of course he knows. Doesn't Elon know that if there was a big bombshell like Trump being in the Epstein files, that some operative in the Biden administration wouldn't have put it out? That Hillary wouldn't have put it out years ago to destroy Trump? Do you think they would have bothered finding E. Jean Carroll to come up with a Law and Order remake of some phony story? Of course they would have used it. They would have scrubbed everybody else's names that they didn't want to get in trouble. And they didn't put Trump out there, but they don't have it. Elon knows this. This is going to accelerate the release of the Epstein files. Rumors are going around the internet that Trump had the Epstein files at Mar-a-Lago. That's why he was trying to hide them from the Mueller team. And that caught fire. Oh, everybody's got to share it right away. But then you stop and think. Wouldn't a Mueller have used that against him if it were true? And just 3 weeks ago, the court instructed the government to release Trump's papers back to him. All the Mar-a-Lago papers were seized during the raid and in the possession of the government for years. And Trump just got an order to get them back. Kind of hard to hide stuff that people have seized from you and you haven't had in your possession since the raid. Don't you think Elon knows that? I think he does. What's this? Oh my, Eric Swalwell. Down, I have the other post of this. Where Trump said Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Then Trump said the easiest way to save money in their budget, since Elon is supposedly upset about the spending. Billions and billions of dollars is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Well, Eric Swalwell, Donald, without Elon Musk, you wouldn't be president now, you'd be a prisoner. Well, Swalwell's going to be hollering, or is hollering, for release of the Epstein files. That's what Clandestine came up with, the same notion. Holy SH and that's it. It's already working. Did we just psyop the Dems into demanding the release of the Epstein files? Careful what you wish for. And he put up Eric Swalwell. Again. Release the Epstein files now. And he reposted Elon. Time to drop the really big bomb. Well, Swalwell must not be on the Epstein files. Because let me tell you something. Whatever Democrats not demanding the release is probably on the list. Who's not demanding it? Yeah, I heard a lot of people say that. Why aren't they hashing out behind closed doors? That's right, Diane. And he's, and Trump is hitting back hard for optics. For optics. Meanwhile, that's what was going to be the theme of my program. Meanwhile, the White House put this out. See the White House in the corner? Illegal alien arrested. Child pornography, right? Assault, battery, and kidnapping. That's an official post from the White House. We're getting pretty good breakdowns from the law of self-defense, Andrew Branco, and Robert Gavoy about these judges that keep on violating Supreme Court decisions and interfering with the Trump agenda. But also, we're getting good updates on how the court is, in most all cases, siding with Trump, and people aren't paying attention to it. It's a constant win-win situation. But people aren't realizing it. What is this? Oh, yeah, here the Democrats, their Twitter page. They put up a picture of Trump from 1998, maybe, I don't know. Getting the Epstein story back going. Kill the bill and release the Epstein files. The Democrats. Of course, these are the younger ones handling social media. They're too young to be on the Epstein files. You're not going to see Jerry Nadler demanding it, or Adam Schiff demanding it, or Chuck Schumer demanding it. Or this lizard head. That's what they used to call him. And I got to give you a language warning. This shows you how decrepit their thinking is. How out of touch. Look at him sitting there with a ball cap on. Looks like Tales from the Crypt or Walking Zombies, or I don't know what he is. But he's talking about Jewish people. People withholding donations to the Democrat Party. Listen to how bitter he is. And I'm sorry about his foul mouth. But this guy is a political commentator with a party that has been decimated in the eyes of normal people who are sick of this kind of degeneracy and filth. How does he figure he's going to fix it or help anything? He's bitter. He's mad. And he's claiming that, especially with Jewish supporters, that they don't give a damn about what's important to him and his ilk. They just want tax breaks. The billionaires.
I tell you who this exposes in a more profound way. And I hear this all the time. I mean, you got to try to raise money from like really wealthy Jewish fundraisers. And it said, look, James, I Democrat, but I can't be a part of party because of what happened at Columbia. Well, what the fuck did the Democrats have to do with what happened at Columbia, by the way? Mm-hmm. All right? But because they have some students at Columbia fucking, generally made an ass of themselves. Well, I can't do that, but I can be.
He's talking about Jewish people withholding their donations because of the way they're being treated at Columbia. And he said, what does the Democrats got to do with what happened at Columbia? That's all you've been recruiting is radicals and jihadists and Marxists. You got everything to do with it. But anyway, let him keep digging his own hole, talking bad about people that don't want to give money to a party that's been vilifying them.
A party that everybody endorses the alternative for Deutschland. Read the modern incarnation of National Socialism, if you will. And I just find these kind of people, I literally, my instinct is, and they tell me that. They look me right in the eye. And I no, you just want your fucking tax cut. Now, that doesn't apply to most people, most Jewish people see right through that. But the ones that don't see through it, they just don't really, at the end of the day, they just want their fucking tax cut. And you can see it every day.
Well, there's a guy named Bill Ackman who's at the top of that list, James.
Put it right up there. Here I stand. I can do no other.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care about anything but their tax cut. No, this is a battle of principles, and you all are losing it. Losing the battle. You're unprincipled. What's the word I use? Well, I don't want to push it. Degenerate. I'll stick with just degenerate. You're degenerate in your thinking, and you just sit here. You just sat there and alienated an entire group of people from the Democrat Party even farther. Now, here's Trump again. Let me see what he's talking about here. It might be about Elon. Let me see.
When that happened, and they're here right now, and they'll answer your question very accurately. But I know some of the people that use that autopen, and those are not the people that had the same ideology as Joe Biden. These were radical left lunatics that used that, and they didn't get elected. He didn't get elected either, actually. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Talking about the autopen. It wasn't Joe. It was radical left lunatics, kind of like James Carville. Even worse, if you can imagine that. But he said they weren't elected, and Joe didn't get elected either. I don't know if I have the clip of him saying it, but he said, I'm here and I talk with a lot of people who were here. And they're very honest and they're very forthcoming. I know who was using the autopen. He said, I know some of them for sure. You know, he's putting a caveat in here. He doesn't know every single one. But he said there are people who saw it and that Joe had no idea what was going on. People were taking over the powers of the presidency and in an illegal way. Maybe it's this. This might be about, he's going to say something about Elon. I got these clips. Like I say, if I would sit there and take notes about each video, I wouldn't get up till 11 o'clock at night, and I'm an old man. But anyway, here we go. Let's see what he's going to say about this.
He never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. A lot of good things are happening in this room. And I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But we have it with others too. They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different and they become hostile. I don't know what it is. Someday you'll write a book about it and you'll let us know.
TDS. Has Elon got TDS? Do you think Elon's got TDS? I don't think so. But Let the people watch the drama. Let the people pick their sides. Let the people learn about the big, beautiful bill. Let the people learn about what will happen if we don't pass a bill. Let people like Asmongold and all these younger streamers find out how the debt clock is over 30 trillion and now it's $100,000 per family in debt. Before you even wake up in the morning. Good morning. You're in debt. Go to work. Yeah, eggs were $2.99 in my territory. Somebody put something about eggs. Mark, how you doing there? $6 gas, $12 eggs, Cajun. That's right. $2.99. Which isn't great, but it's, very tolerable, especially if you like eggs in the morning. Like I said, if I have something else for breakfast, I'll make me a half pound of bacon and make some oatmeal. I'll give my secret recipe. Instead of butter, I put bacon fat in it. Cinnamon, peanut butter. It's delicious. Hi, Greg. How you doing? I'll see what I was seeing if anybody would put up how much y'all's eggs are. Anyway, here's Donald Trump again. I want to remind you all that Trump said during his term over 4 years ago, he said Elon Musk would have got down and kissed my shoes for the money that we allocated him. He would have got down and kissed my shoes. And at the time, I thought Elon was getting too big for his britches. And I pointed out times when Trump has given people a little slap in the mouth to remind them who was in charge. And that was already done. A verbal slap in the mouth. A little bit of public shaming. And that's already been gone through. But anyway, I'm not sure what this is. We shall see. I'll let Mr. T speak.
But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, it became a little bit different. And I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Mr. President, I just want to clarify, did he raise any of these concerns with you privately before he raised them publicly? And this is...
Yeah, I don't know what the response was to that, but yeah, why didn't he do it privately? I think it's to get people to watch the show. I got one more clip from Trump, but let me put some of his posts up. I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% increase, and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. Now, you know, when have you ever heard, other than a few voices in the wilderness, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, people on the outskirts going, my God, this is a lot of money. We're going to be in trouble if we... Very few. You never... With Nancy Pelosi, we got to pass the bill and then we can see what's in it. Nobody kicked a little bit about the billions and billions and billions of dollars that Obamacare costs this country. Nobody said a word. Took over a third, nationalized into a Marxist system, a third of this country's economy. The medical field. Nobody said a damn thing. So now they're all hopping up and down. They're acting like they care about how much they're spending. What a joke. Trump put this up. The easiest way to save money, I showed you this, is billions and billions of dollars. Terminate Elon Musk's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. You know, isn't that weird that he put that in there about Biden? Because if they had such a problem with Elon Musk, why didn't they cut the government subsidies to Musk? Not only that, but gave him a $600 million contract for armored Teslas that Rachel Maddow tried to blame on Trump and say it was a criminal situation with Trump and Elon. And who was it? Jesse Waters that straightened him out and said, Biden's the one that proved that. Oh, I put this one up too. Elon was wearing thin. Trump asked him to leave. Of course, Elon's putting up I get truths and tweets mixed up. But putting up tweets saying Donald Trump lying. So that's where. Whoa, wait a minute! You maybe go a little too far there, Junior. I don't know, but Trump announced today, in the meanwhile part of this. Meanwhile, Trump has concluded not just a very good phone call, but they've come to a trade agreement with China. The press isn't asking any questions about it. And I gotta point out, I showed that video where China launched a rocket, a reusable rocket, and showed it landing, the engine portion landing just like Elon Musk's, but they didn't use chopsticks. Remember that, folks? I don't know, just keep that in the back of your mind. Because Trump used to say nobody else could do that. And China supposedly put up a demonstration that they could have the same technology. Anyway, I just concluded a very good phone call with President Xi of China, discussing some of the intricacies of our recently made and agreed to trade deal. The call lasted approximately 1.5 hours and resulted in a very positive conclusion for both countries. There should no longer be any questions respecting the complexity of the rare earth products. Our respective teams will be meeting shortly at a location to be determined. We will be represented by Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and United States Trade Representative Ambassador Jamieson Greer. During the conversation, President Xi graciously invited the First Lady to me to visit China, and I reciprocated. As presidents of two great nations, this is something that we both look forward to doing. The conversation was focused mostly entirely on trade. Nothing was discussed concerning Russia, Ukraine, or Iran. We will inform the media as to scheduling and location of the soon-to-be meeting. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Nothing in the press about that. They're all talking about Elon. All right, that's fine with me. Let's hear some more thoughts from Clandestine. He was up and down. He was like, oh my God, what's happening? Then he saw that the Dems are screaming for the Epstein files to be released, and he was rejoicing. So I guess he thought about it a little bit, and he said, well, notice how the Dems are only interested in the Epstein files now that they think Trump is implicated. They've been calling it a conspiracy theory for 15 years, and now they care? They don't care about the children or the widespread human trafficking. They just want to get Trump. Yeah, they're unprincipled garbage, like James Carville. Also, meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the redirection of missile fuses destined for Ukraine to U.S. forces in the Middle East. Ukrainian troops used missile fuses to counter Russian drone attacks. That's a little bit of a signal now, isn't it? And it's Hegseth doing it. Here's what Clandestine put up. 2019, 2020, 2021, all through to 24 about Epstein. It's a conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. And now they're hollering, release the Epstein files. How many years is that? 2, 4, 6. We're the 7th year. Now they want to see it. They didn't care what anybody like Adam Schiff or any of that trash was doing to kids. Now they think they can get Trump. What's this? Amuse put this up. Doge. Democrats are calling Trump's decision to end federal funding for California's high-speed rail project heartless. With just 35 years left to complete the project was so close to completion. With just 35 years left to complete the project was so close to completion, you could almost imagine your grandchildren using the rails. Good news is that they won't have anything to tear down. Trump cutting funding for California high-speed rail. California's high-speed rail project didn't expect it to be completed before 2050 and will have cost more than $300 billion by then. Guarantee it wouldn't even appear then. It's just a slush fund somewhere that people have been stealing money. Speaking of that, corruption, right? Where's my Bongino video? This might be it. Dan Bongino was on Hannity. And he was talking about Letitia James and corruption. I think this is Megyn Kelly. What happened to the one? Well, I have a, I had Bongino in my library. But I copied this one about little kids doing the interviews. It's funny, but I wasn't going to play it till the end of the video, but I can't find the real Bongino video. Try to pay attention to what he says, even though it's funny with this AI stuff. what he says about government corruption. And he can't really talk about the Letitia James case right now.
Let me ask you about, are you going to be looking into, Cash and Pam, any potential collusion between the DOJ, Letitia James, the novel legal theory of Alvin Bragg or Nathan Wade or Fani Willis and the DOJ? Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get ahead of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this. The FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money.
Friends.
I can
no,
tell people
I didn't
that
come here to
for
make
sure.
about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends.
Well, the gist of it was Letitia James, Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Bragg, all these creepos are going to be investigated for collusion. And don't forget that Trump appointed a new person to head up the Office of Special Counsel, whose primary focus is going to be on the Hatch Act violations. Using their office for political gain or to harm a political opponent or campaign illegally. And there's gobs of that around there. Gobs of it. What's this one? Oh. A lot of times I take stuff out of my studio because other than that, I would have 20,000 different things and you couldn't find it when you needed it and all that stuff. Anyway, do you remember when I posted where Doge found that one of the Obama girls got $3 million for consulting? The last year the Obamas were in office, they dug that up, $3 million cash payment to Malia. I think it was Malia. But anyway, Michelle Obama, ABC News, putting out more fluff and puff for not just Joe Biden, but for Mike Shell. It is very important for my kids to feel like they've earned what they're getting in the world. And they don't want people to assume that they don't work hard, that they're just naturally just handed things. Oh, is that in preparation for this, people finding out about this $3 million? Let's see what this one is. I put this up earlier, but it was out of sequence. Oh, this is Elon responding about the big, beautiful bill to somebody. He said, whatever. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. Elon, that's what impoundment's for. But anyway, in the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. Then he put up a meme of from the movie Kill Bill, where she's in her yellow motorcycle outfit with a sword. Uma Thurman. But anyway, I'm pointing this out is that when people take sides, okay, there's only two sides to take. And that is a big, beautiful, and Elon says ugly bill. Either cut stuff or don't cut it. But the bill is not in question about passing. In the public's mind, the bill has to be passed. What people are going to come to the conclusion is that whatever the argument between Elon and Trump, supposedly, the politicians have to work it out. They can't not pass something. They can't let taxes fly back up to outrageous amounts. People will go bonkers on both sides of the aisle. That's what I'm saying. This chess move has restricted the opposition to either trimming the bill up and passing it or leaving it the way it is and passing it. But either way, they better do something. I hope that resonates. My thinking resonates with you all. Here is Dan Scrino did post. He did post during all this tumult. And what did he post? Travel advisories for the following countries are level 4. Do not travel. You see them here. How many countries are it? 2, 4, 6, 21 countries. You'd have to have rocks in your head to go to some of them. I mean, who in the hell would go to Libya, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq? Nowhere I'd want to go. Let's see if there's any surprises. Venezuela. You see Venezuela tucked down there? I thought things were going real. Maybe, I don't know. Why would there be a level 4 in Venezuela? But all the others are pretty much expected. But that was put up after I got this off of Russian media. U.S. Department of State, Consular Affairs, Ukraine. Russia has increased the intensity of its missile and drone attacks against Ukraine in recent weeks. And there is currently continued risk of significant harm, damage, or loss of life. So there's a security alert that was put up about the U.S. State Department. This was about a day, maybe 2 days before Dan Scrino put up that 21 country warning. What's this one? Let's see what this is. Oh, this is a high-speed rail. Secretary of Transportation, the one who took over from Buttigieg, California, high-speed rail, has all the marks of a boondoggle. $16 billion spent. 17 years gone. No high-speed track laid. We put California on notice. If you can't deliver, American taxpayers will not fund your train to nowhere. Well, not only that, where the hell's the money? A boondoggle, somebody's rear ends need to go to jail. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this Nayib Bukele put this up. Now, I am really surprised I saw Venezuela on that list. But anyway, Bukele put out to Western nations, you can't build or even fix anything on top of societal disorder. Take traffic, for example. The most logical solution is public transport. But without order, anyone who can afford a car will avoid it simply because they don't feel safe using it. In El Salvador, we lack a lot of things, but we have achieved societal order. You, on the other hand, have almost everything, but you're quickly losing your societal order. You can now predict where these things are heading in the near future. There's still time to save your nations, in the plural, but not much. Couple that with what Viktor Orban was saying. Trump put out I think this is the one about a formal investigation into Autopen Joe. Let me see. Investigation. The counsel of the president is in consultation with the attorney general and the head of any other relative executive department or agency shall investigate to the extent permitted by law whether certain individuals conspired to deceive the public about Biden's mental state and unconstitutionally exercise the authorities and responsibilities of the president. This investigation shall address any activity, coordinated or otherwise, to purposefully shield the public from information regarding Biden's mental and physical health. Any agreements between Biden's sides to cooperatively and falsely deem recorded videos of the president's cognitive inability as fake. Oh, Corinne, Jean-Pierre. Deep fakes, remember that? Any agreement between Biden's sides to require false public statements elevating the president's capabilities. The purpose of these activities, including to assert the authorities of the president. The counsel to the president shall also investigate, in consultation with the attorney general and the head of any other relevant agency, the circumstances surrounding Biden's supposed execution of numerous executive actions during his final years in office. This investigation shall address the policy documents for which the autopen was used, including clemency grants, executive orders, presidential memoranda, or other presidential policy decisions, and who directed that the president's signature be affixed. A presidential investigation ordered by Donald J. Trump. I had this in the studio the other day. To the Congress of the United States, in accordance with Section 1012A of the Congressional Budget and Impoundment Control Act of 1974, I hereby report 22 rescissions of budget authority, totaling $9.4 billion. The proposed rescissions affect programs of the Department of State, as well as the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the United States Agency for International Development, the United States Institute of Peace, and other international programs. The details of these rescissions are set forth in the enclosed letter from the Director of Office Management and Budget. And you see right there, no autopen, Donald J. Trump. So impoundment is the key. Here, put this on your meta page. All stood up to Democrats. All were SHONNT. Ain't that the truth? Hi, Kathy. How you doing? I hope I didn't miss too many people coming in. Just scrolling through the chats. Yeah, who's that? Eisen? Is his name Eisen? Is going to be affected by that one that I just read. Here's the Babylon Bee. Judge determines Trump will get the nation on weekdays while Musk gets every other weekend and holidays. Just a bunch of wiseacres. Did you hear about this? What do you think about this? Supposedly, this lonely heart jumped the fence at Mar-a-Lago. I'll go ahead and play it and we'll talk about it. A lonely heart.
Arrested and accused of trespassing at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate overnight. Tuesday, Secret Service agents said they detained this man, 23-year-old Anthony Reyes, after he allegedly scaled the perimeter fence at Mar-a-Lago. Reyes apparently told Palm Beach police that he wanted to, and this is a quote, marry Kai. Kai Trump is the one he's apparently talking about, the president's 18-year-old niece and daughter of Donald Trump Jr. Reyes was booked at the Palm Beach County Jail with a bond set at $50,000.
I don't know if I was a young whippersnapper and who wouldn't want to marry a billionaire's granddaughter and former president of the United States? Yeah, but hey, was there something more nefarious going on there? Was he looking to hurt somebody or, I don't buy it. Do you think he was a citizen? I don't know. General Flynn put this out. Attention, I do not believe that the recent escalation against Russia's strategic bomber fleet was authorized or coordinated with President Trump. Rather, it's my view that the deep state is now acting outside of the control of the elected leadership of our nation. I believe that these persons inside, some outside, our deep state are engaged in deliberate effort to provoke Russia into a major confrontation with the West, including the United States. The time is now to take aggressive action against those who abuse their authority as government employees to manipulate the elected leadership of our nation. I'll have much more to say very soon. Intelligence doesn't sleep, it develops. Did I say niece? No, I said granddaughter. Diane, I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe. I don't know. I'm old. Ha ha. I can make mistakes. I have got, speaking of that, I'll save these videos. I got some animated videos of the attacks in Russia. But I want to show you this here. A video of attacks on Ukrainian authorities, attacks on Ukrainian authorities in the center of Kherson, which is a city. I'll show you that video in a second. The Russian strike. This is about Putin striking back. The Russian strike will probably be at the center of decision-making. At the block where the Verkhovna Rada and the cabinet of ministers are. Ukrainian MP Roman Kostenko citing Ukrainian intelligence. Well, you can't really rely on that. But Russia has said many times they're going to be hitting decision-making centers. This is the video that they were referring to. And, it's not much, but whoever, it's in the middle of a city, and they're not giving them any warning. Now, if they use the Oreshniks, the lightning-fast missiles that, wipe out half a block, they have said they will give warnings. I thought there was going to be one more. So it was three hits, precision hits, right where the bureaucrats are. Right where the bureaucrats are. Trump. This is Ruski media putting this out. Trump considers Zelensky a bad guy who is pushing the world towards nuclear war, the New York Times writes, citing advisors to the American president. Advisors say Trump is irritated by both Putin and Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky, but he harbors particular hostility toward the leader of the invaded country. Trump has repeatedly told aides that Zelensky is a bad guy who is pushing the world towards the brink of nuclear war, the publication said. It is also noted that the U.S. president is inclined to treat Putin, quote, more respectfully, though he sometimes expresses his disappointment. Trump previously believed that statements about his very, very good relations with the Russian president would help quickly end the war in Ukraine, but later learned from his own, quote, bitter experience what the limits of American influence are, unquote. The newspaper writes, I don't know how much we can put into the New York Times or whoever is claiming they have the inside scoop on how Trump is thinking or what he's doing or planning. And they reported on American entrepreneur Elon Musk in response to criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump, said he could not have won the presidential election without him. What do you all think in the chats or the comments? I'll tell you what I think, but tell me what you think. Do you think Trump would have not won if Elon didn't help him? Elon Musk is saying, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have won the House, you wouldn't have won the presidency. He basically rescued America. That's what Elon's saying. Trump had previously said that he was disappointed with Musk, adding that he had done a lot for him. Without me, Trump would have lost the election. How ungrateful, Musk wrote on social media. Musk also believes that without him, Republicans would not have been able to control both houses of Congress. In another ex-post, Trump said that the Trump bill that caused the disagreement between them was not shown to him. And that it was passed, quote, in the middle of the night and so quickly that virtually no member of Congress had a chance to read it. Well, I had a post from the Freedom Caucus that says otherwise. They noted all the things that were in the bill. I should have kept that post, but it's lengthy. All the cuts. Meanwhile, while this stuff is going on, Newsmax put this up about Jim Jordan. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan wants information on the plea deal that was offered to the IRS contractor who leaked the tax returns of President Donald Trump to the press. What kind of plea deal? Plea deal? Hi, Gary, ha ha. Greg says Elon pulled people over. Yeah, illegal immigrants. Dark Brandon. You're saying Dark Brandon, Debbie? Hi, KNS. Well, I'm sure little X was a pain in their backside coming to the. I mean, nothing bad about the kid, but he's an energetic little brat. And energetic little brats can be a pain in the backside. There's nothing mean about that. It's just a fact of life. Yeah, it's probably the only tie he owns. Yes, I agree with that. Well, here's another example of these screwball judges. Look there. America been very good to me. No business in this country. There illegally. His father, his mother, him, everybody's there illegally. Massachusetts high schooler detained by ICE, granted bond by judge. Massachusetts high school student detained by ICE on his way to volleyball practice last week was granted bond after a judge found he's not a danger to the community. I think the judge is a danger to the community because he doesn't follow the law. Marcelo Gomes de Silva, who's a Brazilian national and a junior at a Milford Public High School, where he should not be, where it's against the law to give benefits to illegal aliens while Americans are suffering, was arrested Saturday by driving his father's car and pulled over and detained, even though his father was a target of the operation. They're all, if they're illegal, they're all being looked for. So let's see what happens. Was this after a judge? They did not say whether it was a federal judge or what type of judge he was. My memory is he's 18 years old. And to do anything with ICE, he would have to be a federal judge. I don't know if he's a state judge or what he is. What did Diamond Silk put up? Let me see. I copied this for a reason. Oh, here we go. Texas in-state tuition for illegal aliens comes to an end after DOJ lawsuit. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated in a statement that under federal law, schools cannot provide benefits to illegal aliens that they do not provide to U.S. citizens. Yeah, why are they giving free stuff to illegals and not giving them to Americans? You're going to do it for illegal and you're not doing it for Americans, and against the law. Let's see if I put these up already or not. Or this one. Oh, another thing. He posted this today, okay? Another thing that leads me to believe that Elon knows what's up. He's drawing attention of the world, but more importantly, the American people, to the big, beautiful bill that he knows it's not going to be the boondoggle. He's not only not considering impoundment, he also tariff money. Shockingly, the Democrat-controlled Congressional Budget Office just announced that the tariffs will be reducing the deficit by at least $2.8 trillion. Too bad this information couldn't have been released earlier. It would have kept people from knowingly saying untruths. That's just a start with tariffs, folks. 2.8 trillion is just a start. Here, put this on your meta page. If chemtrails are nothing more than contrails, and they've existed as long as jets have traversed the sky, then show me a picture from the 70s that has contrails stretching from horizon to horizon. Right there, folks. Get everybody to go in their scrapbooks and their albums and find one. You won't. What's this video about? I hate these black screen ones. This is one I had from the other day. Let me see what's going on here. Oh,
do any of you think that nationwide or universal injunctions are not being abused?
I'm not sure what if I may, Senator, I'm not sure what the time horizon of the question is. I don't think that there could be good faith disagreements about the correctness of some of them, but I have not seen in the last 4 months abuse. No.
I've read your stuff and I've read your writings. I don't want to get bogged down with this, but I have little respect for your opinion because I've read your stuff. When someone is in the White House that you agree with and someone gets a universal injunction against him, you don't like universal injunctions. You called them judges acting like they're politicians in robes and judges looking like crass political actors. But now that President Trump's in the White House, who you dislike, you think that universal injunctions taste like pumpkin pie. So I have to discount what you say because I think you act on your political beliefs. And I worry that that's what you're teaching your kids.
Yeah, I wanted to play that one. I have no respect for your opinion. I am glad of that. I'm glad he told her to her face. On the Senate record. Yes, he is the GOAT. New Insight, how you doing? Just looking at the chats. That's right. Get out, Miss Mendersue said. That settles it. Everybody out. Well, let me see if this is this. I think this one is Megyn Kelly. Let me see. Talking about. Oh, that's my Dan Bongino tape where he's actually himself. That's why I couldn't find it. But this is the one where he said he's going to be looking at public corruption. Sorry about that, Dan. I played you as a youngin'. And Sean Hannity, too. That's why I don't like these black screen videos. But I got them. What am I going to do? Anyway, let me see if this is it. Oh, no, that's Kennedy again. Let me see. I got another video here. This might be it. I don't know. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. But I'm telling you, at the risk of repeating myself, this business of not just Elon Musk, but Jean Pierre and Jake Crapper and the other one, Schmuck Todd. It's all getting people talking. And all these liberals that are going on Midas Trash Network, they're totally off their game. They can't get a straight narrative. Okay? What did I say about being an asset and you don't even know you're an asset for somebody who wants to use you or manipulate you? You be predictable. You be hyperbolic and predictable. They'll find a way to use you. Well, what Trump, Musk is doing, they're being unpredictable. Nobody saw this coming. And they can't keep up their narrative. But anyway, this is Megyn Kelly. I'll go ahead and play her on the way out. I want to thank everybody for spending their precious time with me. Again, I'm going to give a little channel notice. I'm going to be trying to come up earlier each night. And in the future, I might do videos of Sadie eating, I don't know, some like obnoxious stuff that she loves. You know, like fish that have gone bad or anything like that. I'm just kidding. Or a sock puppet with a beard on it. Depending on what these platforms do. If they want me to give my personal information or allow it to be disseminated, I might have to do something else. But one way or the other, I will continue to broadcast. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for spending your precious time with me. Enjoy this final clip. And if you hadn't given me a thumbs up, please consider doing that and subscribing on YouTube or following on Rumble. This is Megan Kelly, and she gives Corinne G. Pierre a hard way to go. Y'all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
This is like, it's incredible how they're talking about her. I don't recognize the person they're describing. They write from the promo from Hachette on this. A hard-hitting yet hopeful critique. She defines what it means to be part of the growing percentage of our fractured electorate that is independent, blah, 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 blah. And then she says, as a history maker, veteran public servant, political analyst, and independent thinker. You have had press secretaries, yourself included, Dana Perino, Kayleigh McEnany, Tony Snow back in the day, who are smart people. Ari Fleischer, who are not, really, let's face it, utter morons who are just out there as mouthpiece. Obviously, Caroline Leavitt, too. Very smart person. But Karine Jean-Pierre is not on the list. All right, even Jen Psaki, she's not a moron. But Karine Jean-Pierre is a total moron. You only need to have watched her for 2 days to have picked that up. Any random days throughout the entire 4 years of Joe Biden. Pick your days. Doesn't matter. You will see a complete moron up there. So there is literally nobody in the country who wants to hear her political analysis on anything. And just in case you doubt me, this is a short little clip just to remind you of what we were subjected to during those very, very painful 4 years. Watch.
NORAD is part of it's a what you call a coalition, a consortium,
a pact of nations.
A pact,
okay.
Exactly. We did it clearly in step with Canada.
3 U.S. winners of the 2022 Nobel Prize, who won the Nobel Prize in chemistry, who won the Nobel Prize in physics, and who won the Nobel Prize.
Noble. She thought it was noble. She said it so many times, and she thinks Canada is called Canadian.